Ever pondered why having a plethora of choices might not always make you happier? This is where we venture into the realm of the paradox of choice. It's a fascinating psychological concept that challenges our conventional understanding of choices. The paradox of choice is a theory suggesting that while we may believe that having more choices leads to more freedom and consequently greater happiness, the reality can be quite the opposite. An abundance of options can lead us to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and ultimately less satisfied with our decision. Picture this. You're at an ice cream parlor that boasts over 50 flavors. You're excited at first, ready to dive into this sea of options. But as you start to contemplate, the decision becomes increasingly difficult. Should you go for the classic vanilla, or the exotic dragon fruit, or perhaps the intriguing matcha green tea flavor? Suddenly, you're not so excited anymore. This is the paradox of choice in action. The more options we have, the more we struggle with decision making. This struggle often leads to anxiety, second-guessing, and a nagging fear of missing out on something better. The end result? We're less satisfied with our choice, even if it's a good one. Contrary to what we might expect, having fewer options can actually make us happier. When we have fewer choices, we're less likely to experience the stress and anxiety that come with decision-making. We're more likely to feel confident in our choice, and as a result, more satisfied. So, does this mean that more choices are inherently bad? Not necessarily. It's more about finding a balance. Too few options can limit us, but too many can overwhelm us. The paradox of choice is a powerful reminder that more isn't always better. Sometimes less is more. It invites us to reconsider our relationship with choices and to strive for a balance that leads to genuine satisfaction. So, is having more choices always a path to happiness? Let's delve into some real-life examples. Imagine walking into a supermarket, confronted with an aisle of over 50 different types of cereal. Just picture it, an entire aisle dedicated to cereal. Each box vying for your attention with bright colors, enticing images, and promises of health benefits or sweet rewards. A simple decision suddenly becomes a complex quandary. Should you go for the tried and true classic? Or maybe that new exotic flavor? What about the one that's on sale or the one that's gluten-free? This is the paradox of choice in action. Having a plethora of options may seem like a luxury, but it can actually lead to a state of decision paralysis. You stand there, stuck in the cereal aisle, overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices. The more options you have, the harder it is to make a decision. But let's say you do manage to make a choice. You select a box, put it in your cart, and move on. That sense of accomplishment is short-lived. As you continue shopping, you can't help but wonder, did I make the right choice? Was there a better cereal out there? This is what psychologists call anticipated regret. It's the nagging feeling that you may have missed out on something better. In this scenario, having too many options doesn't lead to satisfaction. Instead, it leads to stress, dissatisfaction, and regret. You spend more time worrying about making the perfect choice and less time enjoying the choice you made. The cereal you picked might be perfectly delicious, but the potential of what could have been overshadows your experience. The supermarket scenario is a simple yet powerful illustration of how the paradox of choice affects our daily lives. It goes to show that more isn't always better. The abundance of choice, while seemingly beneficial, can actually hinder our decision-making process and diminish our satisfaction. So the next time you find yourself stranded in the cereal aisle, remember, it's not about finding the perfect cereal. It's about making a choice and being content with it. As you can see, more options aren't always better. They can lead to stress, dissatisfaction, and regret. Think about the world of online dating, where thousands of potential partners are just a swipe away. It's a modern-day smorgasbord of options, all available at your fingertips. But does having a plethora of choices make finding love any easier? Let's delve into the paradox of choice in the realm of online dating. In theory, having a multitude of potential partners to choose from should make the process of finding the one simpler. Yet, this abundance of options often leads to a state of paralysis rather than liberation. You're faced with an overwhelming number of profiles, each with their unique attributes, interests, and quirks. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except this needle could be any one of thousands. This scenario is a classic example of the paradox of choice at play. Too many options can actually make it more difficult for us to make a decision. We often find ourselves stuck in a loop of constant comparison and evaluation, always wondering if there's someone better out there, just one swipe away. Moreover, the abundance of choices can fuel a sense of dissatisfaction. Even when we do manage to make a choice, we are often left wondering if we made the right one. Did we overlook someone better? Could there be a more perfect match hidden amongst the sea of profiles? These nagging doubts can tarnish the joy of finding a potential partner, replacing excitement with unease. The paradox of choice in online dating also highlights our tendency to idealize hypothetical options. We imagine that somewhere in the digital crowd, there's a perfect match who ticks all our boxes. But this ideal is often elusive, and the pursuit of it can leave us feeling dissatisfied with reality. Thus, in the world of dating too, an abundance of choices can lead to dissatisfaction and indecisiveness. So the next time you find yourself lost in a sea of profiles, remember that sometimes less is more. It's not about finding the perfect person, but finding the perfect person for you. Consider the modern career path where we're told we can do anything and be anything. In today's world, we're presented with an almost limitless array of career possibilities. From tech startups to non-profits, from healthcare to the arts, we can choose to do virtually anything. But like a kid in a candy store, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by this smorgasbord of career paths. This is the paradox of choice in action. You might think that having endless career options would be liberating, but in reality, it often leads to decision paralysis. Confronted with a plethora of paths, we become immobilized, unable to choose for fear of making the wrong decision. We fret, we procrastinate, and we second-guess, wasting precious time and energy. But the paradox of choice doesn't stop at the decision-making stage. It continues to haunt us even after we've settled on a career. We begin to wonder, what if I had chosen differently? What if another path would have been more fulfilling? This nagging sense of regret can lead to dissatisfaction, even if we're objectively successful in our chosen field. And then there's the stress. With so many options, how can we ever feel certain that we've made the right choice? We're constantly looking over our shoulder, comparing ourselves to others who took different paths and wondering if we missed out. This can lead to a chronic sense of inadequacy and discontent. The irony here is that all these choices, which were supposed to empower us, often end up making us feel more constrained. Instead of feeling free to pursue our dreams, we feel trapped by the fear of making the wrong choice. The pressure to get it right can be overwhelming, and the fear of regret can be paralyzing. In conclusion, the paradox of choice applies not just to trivial decisions like what to eat or what to wear, but to major life decisions like our careers. So, even when it comes to our careers, more choices can lead to more stress, not more satisfaction. So, what have we learned about the paradox of choice? Our journey through supermarket aisles, the world of online dating, and the realm of career options has shown us that the paradox of choice is a phenomenon that permeates every facet of our lives. Despite our initial belief that more is better, we've discovered that an overabundance of options can sometimes lead to less satisfaction. Let's revisit our trip to the supermarket, a place teeming with an array of options. Whether it's the cereal aisle or the dairy section, the sheer number of choices can be overwhelming. But does having more options make us happier? Not necessarily. In fact, it often leads to decision paralysis, where we become so overwhelmed by the options that we struggle to make a choice at all. Then we delved into the world of online dating, a realm where endless profiles present us with an infinite array of potential partners. In theory, this should make finding our perfect match easier. But in reality, the abundance of choice often leaves us feeling less satisfied, constantly second-guessing our decisions and wondering if there's someone better just a swipe away. And let's not forget about our exploration of career choices. In a world where we're encouraged to follow our passions and dreams, the multitude of career paths available can often lead us to feel stressed, anxious, and even regretful about the choices we make. The paradox of choice shows us that having too many options can sometimes make us feel trapped rather than liberated. So, in the face of this paradox, what can we do? The answer lies in understanding and accepting that having more choices doesn't necessarily equate to more happiness. It's about learning to appreciate what we have rather than constantly seeking what we don't. In conclusion, while choices offer us freedom, their overabundance may just imprison us in a cycle of stress, dissatisfaction, and regret. So, next time you're overwhelmed by choices, remember, less can indeed be more.